everybody. Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for La Liga Week 34 predictions. Now, it's heating up with the battle for the title. Are Barcelona running away with it? And of course, the battle for relegation as well. I would say the European spots are pretty much confirmed, other than as to whether or not it will be Villarreal or Real Betis that get that 5th Champions League spot. And I suppose there's Conference League spots. And I suppose there's a Europa and Conference League spot up for grabs as well. But today, we are predicting round 34. Real quick, flashing up on the screen are all of the people that are supporting me over on the Patreon. If you want to get a shout out in every single video, as well as access to exclusive members tips, accumulators, bet builders, access to the group chats, direct messaging to me, as well as, of course, as I think I just said, a shout out in every single video, then click that top link in the description to join over on the Patreon. I would really, really appreciate it. We've had a bit of a break from La Liga due to the Spanish Cup, but we did have a couple of perfect score predictions in the last episode, so hopefully we can continue that good run of form. Kicking off, we have Rayo Vallecano up against Getafe. Now, Getafe, in theory, yes, I say they can be relegated. It's highly unlikely. Like, yes, Las Palmas, who are currently in the relegation zone, could finish above them, but is it mathematically possible based on matchups for all of these teams to finish above them, even if Getafe lose all 5 of their games? Probably not. But I do think Rayo Vallecano are going to get the win. They could still get a European spot, and I think they're going to win this one 1-0. The tip, however, is going to be under 2.5 goals. The odds are so bad. 1.4, that's the lowest I'll ever tip, under 2.5. I think when it gets to 1.36, a couple of times I've dabbled with under 1.5 at above evens, and that's coming too. You could look at under 1.5 goals at probably about 2.3. I think it's likely. I mean, you look at Getafe's results, 1-0 to Real Madrid, 1-0 to Espanyol. That was freaky. I don't know how that happened. Vallecano lost to Atletico Madrid 3-0 as expected, drew with Valencia 1-1, lost to Bilbao as expected, lost to Espanyol. That was a mental result. Espanyol getting some really good results, but 1-0, under 2.5 goals at 1.4. After this, it's Alaves up against Atletico Madrid. Alaves fighting for their lives at the bottom of the table, picking up some points. Atletico Madrid, I mean, they're not going to win the league. They're going to get Champions League football. So will they really give it their all in this one? Hard to say. I do think they're going to win, however. I'm going to say 2-0. I think a win here just secures Atleti the Champions League spot, and I think they're going to get it. And the tip, at odds of 2.1, I like it. Atletico Madrid to win. I know Alaves, a win for them would be absolutely massive in terms of survival in La Liga, so I can see why the odds are the way that they are. But in my opinion, the golfing quality between Alaves and Madrid is such that it won't matter that Alaves have more to play for. I think Atletico Madrid get the win. After this, it's Villarreal up against Osasuna. Osasuna fighting for a European space. Villarreal fighting for a Champions League space, as I mentioned, with Real Betis. I do think Villarreal get the win here. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. And the tip, it's going to be Villarreal to win and both teams to score at 3.1. That is my highest odds tip for the week, closely followed by the next game with Las Palmas up against Valencia. Las Palmas would love a win. If Alaves lose like I predict and Las Palmas get the win, they jump out of the relegation zone. That would be absolutely massive. But Valencia, they were in the relegation zone themselves not too long ago. They were rock bottom of La Liga when I tipped that they would not get relegated. And here they are, unbeaten in the last 7. I think it's going to be a stalemate here. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. The tip, the full 90 classic, it's going to be both teams to score and under 3.5 goals at 3. So that's 1-1 or 2-1 either way. After this, I mean, it's Valladolid up against Barcelona. 2 polar opposites. Barcelona losing 5, winning 24. Valladolid winning 4, losing 25. Losing all of their games. Even though Barcelona have a tie against Inter Milan in the Champions League, it won't matter. Valladolid aren't good enough. As you can see, they've got half the points of Las Palmas, who are also in the relegation spots. So make that make sense. They are so bad. They're so not at the level. So even though Barcelona have Champions League to focus on, they'll still want to keep the distance between them and Real Madrid. It could be a 1-0 win, don't get me wrong, but I just think Barcelona could field their C team and still beat Valladolid. So I'm going to go 3-0, and I am going to be brave enough to tip Barcelona -2 handicap at 1.83. Valladolid stink. 5-1 to Real Betis. We tipped over 3.5 goals at 2.3 on the Patreon. They lost to Osasuna. They lost to Atletico Madrid. They lost to Getafe. They lost to Sociedad. They lost to Celta Vigo. They lost to Valencia. Remember, they lost to Bilbao 7-1. They are just the whipping boys of La Liga, and it's represented beautifully by this sea of red. After this, Real Madrid up against Celta Vigo. I think Madrid get the win, keep the pressure on Barcelona. I'm going to say it'll be a 3-1 win. And the tip is going to be Real Madrid to win and both teams score at 2.5. Celta Vigo are always good for a goal. Beat Villareal 3-0. Massively helped by a red card, but still a brilliant result. Lost here to Barcelona 4-3. Barcelona both teams to score we tipped was correct. Lost to Espanyol. That was a shock, but Espanyol have been getting some good results lately. Mallorca, both teams score. Las Palmas, both teams score. Valladolid are terrible. And Leganes, both teams score. So I think Celta Vigo score and Real Madrid get the win. What was this loss here? Losing to Valencia. Yes, I remember that one. After this, Sevilla up against Leganes. Sevilla lost here to Osasuna. Again, a red card meant that was very difficult for them. A very early red card. I don't think Sevilla are 15th bad. I really don't. And I'm going to go for them to beat Leganes here 2-1. I know Leganes are fighting for their lives in relegation, but Sevilla don't want to be dragged into it if they lose here. So I'm going to say Sevilla win 2-1. The tip is Sevilla to win at 1.8, and you could argue that that would be enough to see them stay in La Liga. And Sevilla, they're a Spanish mainstay. They've got to be in La Liga next season, and I think they're going to do it. Now, after this, Espanyol up against Real Betis. Real Betis have a very important game to worry about in Europe. Espanyol have been on a blinding run, so I'm going to go for a bit of a shock here. Real Betis should win, and if they do win, they're closing on a Champions League spot, but I'm just going to say this will end 0-0. Espanyol have had some really good results lately, so we'll say 0-0. The tip is going to be under 2.5 goals at 1.66. Betis could easily win this 1 or 2-0. I could absolutely see that happening, so consider a Betis win if you like. But maybe Betis double chance and under 3.5 goals, whatever you feel like, because Betis 2.4 odds, that's high. That is very high, but they have other things to worry about as well. After this, Real Sociedad up against Bilbao. Athletic Bilbao, they have Europa League against Manchester United to focus on. I think Sociedad can take advantage of that and take a point off of them here. I'm going to say a 1-1 draw. Again, my tip is going to be under 2.5 goals at 1.53. I could see Sociedad winning this. I think these odds are fair. Sociedad slight favourites. The draw has to be considered, but I'm going to go 1-1 under 2.5 goals. And finally, it's Girona up against Mallorca. Mallorca pushing for some kind of Conference League spot if they can make it, and Girona trying not to get dragged down into the relegation battle. But Girona, I've got 1-1 here, but you know what? I'll change it. I'll go 2-1 Girona. They need the win way more than Mallorca do, and they're at home. So the tip stays the same because the tip was both teams to score at 2.05, but I've gone from 1-1 to 2-1. Err on the side of caution. Girona are winless in their last 7, but you know what? They should not get relegated. Like, I know they're not great, but come on. So I'm going to say 2-1. So here's a summary of my picks. The only real upsets, I suppose you could say, are the draws I've gone for between Espanyol and Betis and Sociedad and Bilbao, but they have European commitments to contend with. I'd be very intrigued to know your predictions down in the comments below, so leave your predictions down there. Drop a like whilst you're there. Subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I'll see you in the next one very soon.